Now we unmuted. Now we unmuted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unmuted.
Turn me up now. Now we unmuted. I'm about to be one of the best to ever do it. Sip 7 in the building, you already knew it. Roll on my sleeve, so let's get to it. I'm walking with my purpose, I'm walking in my vision. So that means I'm just a man on this mission. I'm just a comedian that happen beats Christian. So let that beat drop, give them what they missing. Yeah. Now we unmuted. Now we unmuted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the kickoff of season 2 of Unmuted. I am your host, Sip 7, aka Scott Simpkins, which is my government name. And we are here to have a great time. Listen, go ahead and like, share, click that like button and go and share it to your people and tell everybody about it. And please leave everything in the comments. I'm trying to get rich and famous, y'all. Leave everything in the comments, all your questions, everything, because today is going to be a good show. Because I have somebody that's special to me and special to the Bay Area, and I call her the most controversial pastor that I know. You know what I'm saying? But we're here to talk about relationships, and I have here, she's an author, she's a pastor, she's an excellent woman of God, and she's also, she'll slap you in the mouth if you try. She'll slap you. But I have with us today on Unmuted, yeah? Miss Tami Roberts. How you doing, Miss Tami?
Hi, Sim. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I feel good. I'm looking good. Hey, it's time to kick this thing off the right way. I'm trying.
You looking good.
I'm trying. I ain't gonna tell people I got on shorts so they can't see me up under.
Oh yeah. We know you got your little screensaver back there. You know your little background.
Listen. COVID and taught us how to get away with stuff, because I mean virtual church we have on the bottoms, we just had on the suit on the coat.
You can just praise them in your drawers.
Praise them in your drawers. Come on, praise them in your drawers ministry. See, this is about to be a crazy interview. I already know. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm good. Look, I'm here in Jamaica. At our place to stay for Mission Revive in Jamaica. We are in our Holy Convocation in Jamaica, so I'm just chilling. It's hot, but hey, I'm good. But I wasn't gonna miss this interview.
So you're trying to get your groove back in the name of the Lord.
Oh, honey. No. Me don't do no Stella, man. Me don't do Stella. Me no. No, Winston, man.
Fire, fall on me. Okay, got you. Yeah. I don't get hit with that fire, But thank you so much for coming on Unmuted, man. I really appreciate it.
Woo. I'm honored to be here.
I had to bring you on because you got a lot to say, and I'm ready to get into it. All right.
We'll see if the people like what I have to say or not. I don't know, but we'll find out.
We're gonna see. So let's get into this thing. All right. So were you born and raised in Tampa, Florida?
I was born and raised in Clearwater, Florida.
In Clearwater, okay. All right. So growing up in a home, were you guys like a churchy family? Or did you see love and all the good stuff in the home?
Oh, well, my story is a little different, right? I am the product of a pastor and his mistress. So that kind of, sheds some light on why, I've gone through some things in relationship and why I have a lot to say about relationship and the church in relationship as well, So my story is a little different. And I saw love, but I saw love from a perverted view.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Okay.
Because of how I was conceived. So up until my dad died, up until, the age of 10, I knew who my father was. I saw my father very often, almost, I would say almost every day, just like every other child sees their father that's in the home. But my father didn't live in the home with me. He actually lived probably about 2 to 3 miles away from me with his wife and his family, So, it wasn't it really wasn't a secret that I was his child, but you know, it was kept secret. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It
I
was
know
one of those unspoken rules. And excuse me, that's the elder walking back and forth through the house.
Oh, this is great.
No,
Oh,
that's look at here. Don't do that. That's
we'll
Elder
sip on
Burr,
the water just for a little taste.
missionary Charmaine's husband. So he's walking back. Him and his wife, you know, also are here with me on the mission, as well as in probably 9 other my staff
I'm
members.
gonna say, because them comments about to be off the chain. Like, Lord, she done got a man.
Look, let me tell you something. Cause they saw him walking by and his wife, right?
Yeah,
and they probably like, look.
He said,
oh girl.
He said, forget it. I'm walking around in his white beater. They gonna see me. You knew we was recording today. He said, you gonna see me.
Right. Well, they taking care of business. So, audience, please excuse me. Like I say, I'm in Jamaica. We got a lot going on. But we're gonna have this interview.
It's
all right. But like I was saying, I saw my dad, Scott, and you know, it was family, but it was a different sort of a family dynamic. So it was, you know, dysfunctional, but you know, it really has, I would say, I think my childhood prepared me for where I am today. Right. And I'll just put it that way. And as we get into things, you know, I'll shed some light on that.
So, okay, yeah. So you just kind of said some thing that was kind of personal. You said that you was the product of a pastor and the mistress. That type of stuff goes on in church. Yeah.
You already know. My mom was the mistress of my father for about 15 years before he passed, right? And I'll just say one of them, because my mom passed a year ago, and I began to find out other stuff. I have brothers that I went to school with that I had no idea was my brothers. And thank God I was never involved with any of my brothers, because it could have been, yeah. So a lot of stuff comes. Let me tell you something. This church stuff and life itself, and I can only speak for the African American community, and you know, being a therapist as well, understanding that there's a lot of things that we have really covered up, especially in the African American homes, you know, to where the family dysfunction, the relational dysfunction, is really deep. It's a really deep dynamic, and it actually goes into the church environment, because the people, you know, in the community are, you know, indoctrinated and a part of the church.
Right.
So we come into the church with all our dysfunctions, right?
Absolutely.
We come into the church and we thinking God gonna change things, and we're thinking that, you know, we're gonna get saved, we're gonna get delivered, we're not gonna face these issues, these relational dynamics. But if we really tell the truth, we come into the church with our own set of dynamics, whether we've had 2-parent households or not. There may be some dysfunction and some you know, toxic behavior in those homes that have not addressed or have not been addressed.
Look at him. There you go again. Hey, he bringing more men. He bringing more men with it. He brought more men and a woman while we record. Anyway, I ain't mean to cut you. I just saw more people coming inside of the house. Anyway.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you good.
I am so sorry.
No, it's all good. We just play. But
okay.
I want to ask you this though, because you know, fathers are important in the girl's life.
Yes.
I'm the father of 2 beautiful daughters, and I'm in their life like crazy. So you say he was like 2 to 3 miles away from you, and he knew he had a daughter. So was he in your life, and what type of role did he play in your life?
Oh, he was in my life, and in my home, he played father. In the church, he was Rev. Right?
Right.
So in my home, I knew him as my daddy, but in the church, I knew him as Rev. You know, I knew that he was the pastor of the church. You know, it was a real different dynamic, you know?
Yeah, because I tell you this, when I grew up apostolic Pentecostal, and I went to school with a lot of kids, right? Boys, we played music, drummers in the church, this, that, and the other. And some would say who their father was. I'm like, wait a minute. And that's your daddy too. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
So as I got older, because we grew up in a strict household, I was in the home with a father and mother. I'm the last out of 7 kids, and everybody came from the same person, right? So
I'm sorry, I'm trying to change around so we don't get all that.
Oh, you good, it's all good. I saw one household. I didn't see everything else. So when I saw my dad's friends, some of them, you know, I'm like, wait a minute. So so that's your daddy, and he your daddy. How? I didn't know.
Yeah, it's dumbfounding, and it's dumbfounding because, I mean, my dynamic was like this. You know what I find out about people, Scott, and I found this out through how things happen with me, because I knew my siblings. I knew my siblings that lived in my father's house. I was at the parsonage probably every other weekend. So I had a great relationship with my sisters, you know, and I had an adopted brother as well that my dad and his wife adopted. So I had a great dynamic with my family. I knew my family, and I knew that they were my sisters and brothers. We never really discussed it. You know, it looked like, okay, well, those are my playmates, and I'm there every week. I know that these are my family members. I'm there every weekend. But look, when my father dies, he had cancer. So he dies, I'm 10 years old. Do you know that whole dynamic changed, because he finally says, okay, this is my child. Okay.
And what age
and
was
I
that?
guess I was 10 at the age he died.
Wow.
So he tells everybody, and he prepares them, look, I need for her to be taken care of. This is my child. You know, so at this time, everybody is known, because even, you know, my sisters and brothers and the playmates, we know Reb, your daddy. We know who your daddy is. What's your dad's name? So they will always, you know, kind of like torture me with that. Wow. I wouldn't say anything because I knew that this was not supposed to be something that was public.
Right.
So, you know, the other kids coming to me saying this to me, I wouldn't say anything. I would not answer those questions. I would not say anything, right? But what I find out about people, when it becomes truth and is exposed to the light, then it becomes a problem. So now that everybody knows that this is truth and it's an aha moment, my whole life changes, because now I'm estranged from my family. Because when they know that this is really our sister and our sibling, it's awkward for them to continue to bond with me. So here I am, my father's died. Now I'm estranged from my sisters and my family. And now I don't have that connection anymore, because now no one really wants to be involved with me.
Wow. So that kind of covers my next question. How does it affect the
They
child?
know who I am, but now they don't want anything to do with me. Oh,
even to this day?
It affects, I mean, that right there is my story. That's why, and we get ready to talk about dating and relationships. That's why I barreled through so many relationships early on in my life. You know, that identity, not knowing who you are, not, you know, being able to relate, you know, feeling that rejection and that abandonment, and trying to just find someone or something you can identify with. It affects you. It affects you. It affects the way that you do relationship, not just intimate or romantic relationships. It affects how you do relationship with everybody. It affects your core belief, your worldview of people, you know, whether you can trust them or not, you know, how many walls you put up. Yeah,
okay.
It affects it.
Did it have an effect on you and how you view the church?
That's a good question. I think early on, it didn't affect how I viewed the church because I was optimistic. But I was a Baptist girl. I grew up in a Baptist church. I didn't know nothing about that Pentecostal stuff, hand clapping, foot stomping, speaking in tongues until I got, around about 19 years old, and into my first marriage, and then I was introduced to charismatic Pentecostal ministry. So early on, I loved the church. I mean, I was a church girl. I was a PK by default,
Right.
So I love church. I love church. When I got over into the Pentecostal or charismatic movement, I really felt like that it kind of brought things full circle. So, there in the Baptist church, there's, in part and you do in part. I always felt like there was something missing. Not that anybody, not taking anything away from the Baptist church.
Right.
But for me, there was another element that was missing for me that I needed for this time in my life as a pastor. And that was just a full gospel. So getting into the era of the Pentecostal movement and, feeling that community, because, the Baptist church sometimes can be a little starched, and it can be a little regulated, whereas that Pentecostal charismatic environment kind of endorses family to a certain extent. I'll put it that way.
Correct.
But it's more of an appearance of togetherness, an appearance of love, an appearance of unity. And that's what captivated me. It wasn't until I got into that church and got engrafted and, the gifts that God had given me had become apparent to me that I faced my greatest fight, and I began to see that this is not community as it looks.
Right.
So I think as time went on and, after my first marriage and how everything went with that, and to get the treatment from the church and how they treated me, then going into my second marriage and how things went with that. And then on top of that, because I married two preachers back to back, and getting the treatment from the church in a different manner, you know. So after that, I was done with the church. I was done with y'all. It's like, I'm done. Y'all, y'all are just fake, phony, hypocrites. I'm done. I was very bitter.
Tami, you said y'all. How you just gonna throw me on the bus like that? I didn't even know you did. You saying y'all for?
Y'all. Now look, it's a trigger.
Nah, no, I ain't even do nothing. I'm just done with y'all. Hey, I'm married two preachers and they get y'all, so I'm done with you, Scott. I'm done with y'all.
Look, let me tell you something. To this day, I won't date a preacher.
For real?
I don't like religious men. And let me say that. I didn't say I didn't like men who love God. I don't like religious men. I don't like, praise the Lord, sister. Oh, God told me you was my wife. Praise the Lord, sister.
Oh man, you get that line.
God gave me a word for you, and I just want to prophesy to you. And the Lord saying, and the Lord wanting, what color panties you got on?
Oh, so you'd rather for them to come and ask you about the panties first before?
No, you didn't get it. Let me stop. In the middle of prophesying, in the middle of them telling me what the Lord says, what color panties you got on?
They actually did that to you? That's pretty clever. I gotta give them a round of applause on that. That's pretty clever. Because the objective is to get you to come into my world first before I ask you about
Thank you. I'm like, and you're right. I'm like, Negro.
Come on in,
white man.
Then I'm asking you about
man. Look, I would have rather for you just to say, look, girl, you fine. You look good. I just want to know what's under that skirt. I could have accepted that better. But don't come giving me a word and telling me the Lord loves me, and then in the next breath you asking me what color my underwear.
Because what that does, it definitely helps the church look bad. It helps. I've been a part, and look, I've been a part of that too. I've done my dirt and my wrong, and God had beat me up about it, and I knew I was wrong. So I had my hand in that too.
I think what it does, it shows how religion, and this is the point, this is what I get out of it, and what I've gotten out of it. I won't say this, my preference, because I won't say dislike, because I don't have anything against men of God. You know, I got a lot of friends, you know, you one of my closest friends in ministry, you know. I don't have anything against men of God per se. What I do have an issue with, I think that there's a balance in Christianity that a lot of us have not come to. And I'll put it that way. And when you see people who are overly religious, and you see people, this is just my opinion now. I'm not going, this is what I've seen and what I've experienced.
Right.
In ministry, you know, my therapeutic experience with my clients, when you see people who are overly religious and they use the word, they use the church, they use speaking in tongues, they use the Bible, all of this kind of stuff, and it's overdone and there's no balance to it, people are masking. They really haven't dealt with their issues. They suppress those things that they are dealing with. They put all of that religious stuff over it, and it's just like being in a pressure cooker and somebody removing that top off before lowering the steam, and it's just a combustion. And that's what happens.
Just
we
like
learn to mask our issues with religion.
Yeah, you're right. So that's kind of leading me to my next topic here is, how do you date while you're in the church? Because I've talked to different women before, and some act like it's just so wrong for me to tell them how gorgeous they are. Or, my God, girl, you just, man, you're making my heart.
And those are the same ones. If you catch, and those are the same ones, when you catch on a bad day, they're gonna jump right in the bed with you, and then be repenting or say, "Oh, you took advantage of me.
You took advantage of me. Why they do that?
Oh, you seduced me."
Right. Now I did, but still,
they were a part of it.
They was a part of it.
But see, listen, we're human, right? We're human. Our affections are human. Our desires are human. Our attractions are human. You know, sex in itself, you know, and the desire for it is a human, it's a human emotion, a human feeling that God has given us. Now, of course, you know, we can be imbalanced in that. And of course, we can be affected by that as men and women of God. But that does not mean that we cannot be real and be honest about our feelings and emotions, and then be able to share that information with one another, right? Right. My experience, go ahead.
Here's the thing that kills me, that a lot of people have said, and I used to stay quiet about it, but now I'm very open about it. Oh, look at the, church, man, you supposed to be saved. I'm like, well, because I got the Holy Ghost don't mean my blood don't work. Because I got the Holy Ghost don't mean that I don't see how fine you are. Because I got the Holy Ghost don't mean that I can't tell you if I'm your man, if I'm dating you to be your husband, I can't tell you how fine I am, and my emotions don't work. I'm like, where did y'all get that from? Oh, them church boys, they freak.
That's really war.
What?
That's war.
I was a human first before I became a church boy.
But listen, why does anyone ever read the book of the Songs of Solomon?
The Song of Solomon. I be saying that, girl. Look, the Song of Solomon. You read the Song of Solomon, you just might go to bed. You just might go to bed. Boys, read the Song of Solomon up in this man, but I'm trying to tell you. You just might go to bed, boys. You know y'all have them little books and stuff y'all be reading before you go to bed. You just shoot. Song of Solomon, that man.
Erotica.
You talked about other stuff and how you want. Song of Solomon ain't no joke, boy.
The breast is this and how they, yes, yes. He talked about all of that. The thing about it, we suppress our the sexual part of us, the sensual. We suppress that sensual part of us, but we don't realize how suppression causes us, not to be balanced in certain areas, and those very areas that we suppress have more control over us than anything.
Right. We've been going over that the past 3 Sundays about that part about sex and stuff like that, and you got to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, it's a lot of stuff that's going on out there, and you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to have your own wife, your own husband, most definitely. But before I get there, what am I supposed to do? Before I get there, what things I'm supposed to say to her? Before I get there, how am I supposed to conduct myself? So if I don't, if I do fall or whatever like that, what am I to do? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, do that sometimes that they put it to where get married fast. Get married in a hurry,
exactly.
so you won't.
It's better to marry than to burn, right?
Right.
It's better to marry than to burn. And what that does, that creates a whole nother problem, because you marry somebody because you fornicating with them don't mean you love them. And so now you got people in the church married to people that they don't even like. Their flesh was just out.
Right, their flesh was just.
The pastor told us to get married, and so we done got married, and they don't even like each other. So guess what now? You married to somebody because you was fornicating with them because you weren't delivered. You still ain't delivered. So now you looking for somebody else to fornicate with because you don't even like the one you with.
Right, exactly, man. And I'm telling you like this, that's why my pastor now, Pastor Willie J. Brown, he said some things that I never actually just really, and I came up in the pastor's home. He said, take your time, learn a person all the way through first. Don't just, he said, take your time. Let them get up under the word for a while. And after that, then, if they stick around and take this hardcore truth, then, I never heard that. Get married young. Yeah. You'll be like buddies. I'm like, well, that didn't last long because I got married at 19, and that was just, I'm like, God, why?
Me too. I did too. I got married at 19 years old. Look, I left my mama's house and went to stay with a man. And I'm gonna tell you something else. I slept with my mama till the day I left her house. I had my own bedroom. Okay.
There's some people might watch this that don't quite understand what you mean by that. You mean you were sleeping in the bed with her? Because we don't want no Jerry Springer.
Sleeping in the bedroom with my mother. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because folks be done thinking
I gotta cover myself up like old church mother. Yes.
Yeah, but some people, that do happen. Do happen. But no, not in this case. I slept in the bedroom with my mother until the day I got married. I really had no training. So you take this girl who done been through this very dysfunctional family dynamic situation and take her right out. I haven't had any counseling. I ain't even really had no discussions with anybody about it. I've been fending for myself, trying to figure out this relationship stuff. And, the first person comes along and say, let's get married. I'm like, okay, sure, let's get married.
Right.
I don't even like him.
So you wrote a book called Single by Default. What prompted you to write that book?
I wrote it because one day I was reading all of Paul's directives of in Corinthians about, what the unmarried person is supposed to do, what the married person is supposed to do, what the widow is supposed to do, what happens, in the case of divorce. And he stated all of this stuff saying, I, Paul. Not once did he say they were God's ordinances, but because he was God's man, he put those ordinances out, right? And I began to think about that. And I said, well, what about the baby mamas and the baby daddies? What about those coming out of alternate lifestyles? What about those of us who ain't never been married and got, 3 and 4 kids, or those who ain't never been married, married that are living together, where, there's nothing that they can relate with, right?
Right.
All the singles ministries, the women, the singles ministries, the men's ministries, the women, ministries, we're coming together. We playing all these trivial games. We going out to eat. We having all this stuff, but we're not discussing these issues of brokenness that people are coming into the church with. So I coined a term called the new single, because in our time, we ain't unmarried virgins. So the rules that Paul would give an unmarried virgin wouldn't even apply to me. It wouldn't apply to me. It wouldn't apply to you. Where do we find ourselves in the church? Where do we find ourselves? No, it don't apply to you.
What you mean? I am a... Tami, stop.
If you want to renew yourself.
Tami, stop. I'm clean. I don't have sex.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that was
don't put my business out.
That's what I'm laughing. I didn't say not one word. I just thought that was a very, you're a comedian. I don't know when you're serious or when you, I'm just gonna throw it out there like that. I don't know when you're playing, when you're serious. But I wrote the book because we can't find ourselves there. And so the way that we're doing ministry, the way that pastors are doing ministry, we make it so unrelatable to people who have had relationships. I say, so I wrote the book for that. I wrote the book for all of us who come from places like divorce, who come from places of never, ever being married, but have had relationships, who've been broken. The subtitle of that book is Discovering Wholeness After Divorces and Single Mess Ups. Because of the fact of the matter, we've messed some things up. And we've messed some things up because we haven't been taught properly or given the grace that we need to know how to make it after fractured relationships.
Right.
The church doesn't give us that grace. They don't give us the love or even the instruction, because my instruction for a unmarried virgin will be totally different from my instruction for someone who is divorced and starting over again. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm getting ready to get real with dating over 40. I'm doing a workbook and getting ready to do a master class right now for those who are dating over 40, even those that are not 40 yet need really to attend, for the mature dater, because there are some things that we need to look at going through this dating process that I had to learn through trial and error and annulments and divorces. That I can help other people understand how to go through this vetting system of figuring out how to date, because we ain't dating the right way. We ain't doing it right.
Okay, so stop right there. So in recent conversations we had, a lot of people get into a relationship and want to get married right off rip without even knowing. Like, they think dating is saying, hey, look, I want to marry you. I want to get to know you.
So let's check this out. Nobody grooms us for dating. We're groomed to be husbands and wives. Okay? Mm-hmm. So let's think of it from the aspect of someone, I don't even want to deal with the fact of the matter that the church groom people to make them think they have to find a husband or a wife or something's wrong with them. I'll come back to that, right? But let's talk about how we are groomed to look at dating, especially it's hard for a person who done been married. Now I know we can agree on this. It's been hard for us to go back and date after being married. As a woman, especially, me and y'all can do that, because y'all be like, hey,
I'm gonna say, child, please. Soon as I said I'm out here, child, I was already gone. The next day, I was so ready to leave up out that membership. I said, child, the next day I was already gone. You know, I was wrong. Yes, I admit I was wrong.
You was wrong and gone.
I was wrong, but I didn't care because my emotions was messed up. Because I could not believe out of everything I was taught and all that good jazz, even though it was right, it still didn't work because I didn't choose right. So I said, helpful, where you go, somebody else come up in the bedroom immediately.
Immediately. But see, that's different. That's different. And thank you for making that point, because men, they can easily disconnect. I won't say all men, but most men can easily disconnect. One thing about that, because it's hard for you all to be emotionally available. Okay, and let me explain. It is because all it takes is for one of us not knowing how to groom a man, to emasculate you, and then you go into a shell, and you ain't gonna let that guard down for nobody. So married to him or not, you just like, you got this wall up, and basically, regardless of your feelings and your emotions, you will only let. Men are accustomed to putting guards up because they told when they were little boys, don't cry. You a man. Be a man. So you're used to.
So we can cry.
Yes, you're used to masking those emotions. You're used to, getting yourself together and just moving on. Women, we are taught to give our entire selves to that person. So you got to see it from the standpoint, we go through marriage, and especially if we're married for any amount of time, we have given our entire identities to this other person. So the fracture comes when that cord is cut. We're still in wife mode. So my dating experience is going to be me being a wife to a man that's just somebody that's dating me.
Ah, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm doing everything I have learned to do as a wife for this person that I'm only supposed to be collecting data from.
So in other words, you're saying, I've seen it before, so pretty much you're saying, stop giving wifely duties to somebody that you're not a wife to.
Yeah, and I honestly believe that. Stop giving your entire selves and your entire beings thinking that is going to convince a man to be with you. Because we go in and oh God, I don't know where this comes from, but I've seen women formulate their whole minds around the first time they see a man, and they think the man have the qualities that they need. That's my husband. God said that's my husband. God ain't never told a woman nothing like that. He ain't did that. Right. I don't care how spiritual we get and how many tongues we speak in and how Holy Ghost filled we get. That has never been the ways of God. That never have. And so God said, that's my husband. That's my husband. And so you start doing the things for this man that just think he dating you. And all of a sudden you done made him your husband.
And if you're a man like me,
okay, you ain't for me. And then you around here crying and calling people and seeing therapists.
And then we get blamed for it, because if you're a man like me, we even tell you to stop. We're going to receive all that. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for this food, like sister's cooking back there. She throwing down back there. Thank you for all of it. But then here's the thing. We didn't ask for that. We just said, hey, how you do? You want to go out to hot and juicy? And then boom, next thing you know, I'm a candidate to be a husband. Like, wait a minute, you don't even know me. You don't even know me. Dang. Can you, can I pay for the bill first? We did have a good conversation, but let's continue to have a good conversation. And if it don't work, it's okay. If it didn't work, it's trial and error. It's all right. And I ain't got to beat you across the head and you beat me across the head because it didn't work.
Thank you. That's the woman at the well syndrome. That's how she had 5 husbands, and the one at her house wasn't none of hers.
Man, me and my brother talked about that last night. Good God Almighty. Yep. Ain't none of yours.
That's how it happens, because we got so many boys, you know, as women, and I don't, you know, it's just the truth. Right. You know, we are as the weaker vessel. So there are so many things emotionally for us that has to be catered to for us to have this sense of wholeness and this sense of confidence that, you know, those processes, if they're undone, we're undone. And if we're not taught how to go through these processes in the right manner, we're going to be hitting and missing the whole time, trying to find that missing link. And that's how we get messed up in this dating process.
Yeah, you're right. So I got a big bomb question, because a lot of people don't want to hear anything negative about a woman so far this today's society. You know, back in the day, mother tell you what's right. You either take it or leave it.
Honey, mother tell you. Mm-hmm.
So I got a question. Do you feel like a woman that has multiple kids without being married lessens her value of being a wife? Or lessens her chance of finding her and really want to take care of you and all those kids? Because that is a big deal.
Yeah, it does. It does. Doesn't mean that God won't do it. It definitely doesn't mean that God, it don't mean that God won't do it. God is God. He'll do anything he wants to. And there are a lot of women, there are a lot of women that have multiple children, that have excellent husbands who have come in. So, but truthfully about the matter, it does. It does. Listen, my fear, because I've been married multiple times and I love marriage and I desire to I do desire to marry in the right manner. But my fear coming out of all of that, you know, especially before I was healed, was that no one will ever marry me with my history, right? Because of the fact of the matter, you tell somebody, oh, I done been married, you know, I done been married 5 times, you know, although, you know, 2 of them, I was married to the same person, you know, almost 3 times, you know, but you tell somebody you done been married multiple times, they gonna be looking at you like, what the hell wrong with her?
Right.
Something wrong with her. You know, can you pull your fan up a little bit? You know, yeah, so it does lessen. It puts you at risk of not, you know, being married or, you know, and things of that nature. So we do need to face that. You know, and be realistic about that. The more that we do it, and guess what? The more that we do it, the more at risk we become at being failures.
Wow. Well, you hit it right on the head with that one. Because, I mean, when you go on social media, you see stuff like that's being said. Let's just call out one person, for instance, that did say stuff like that. Kevin Samuels. He's no longer here, but he did have.
Lord, bless the dead.
He still had points of values that was valid. He just came at it with a hard hit.
Yeah, he did. I think that he didn't show tact.
Because I was like, dude, you know, we need to go back to normalizing having kids while you're married, you know what I'm saying, under the covenant of marriage, so these kids can know that, hey, look, having a mom and daddy in the home is normal.
Yes,
being married is right. You know, I don't have to go out here. You know what I'm saying? We need to normalize that again. I mean, but in today's society, we know it's not going to happen. God can do anything, but it's up to the person to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I've said this about myself a long time ago. All views, as you get older, your views and thoughts change for somebody.
Right, your preferences change.
Never dating about a guy with multiple kids. Now I got 2 daughters, but I'm talking about exceeding. You know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like, but man, I'm like, how she still?
I'm telling you, I have 4 children. They have a wonderful father. But this is what I said as a woman. I did not want to men with multiple children. And you know, now at my age, it's like one of my preferences was not to date a man with small children. I didn't get that.
That was where I was going to, because I said that. You know, you got the fresh baby. They say, Scott, what you mean by fresh baby? What I mean by fresh baby, your baby 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibly. I said, the reason why, because you and that baby's father is still going through stuff. Y'all still trying to figure out, you just got done laying with him. So all your emotions and everything is still tied into him. So now I come into the picture, who that dude is, even if he's a deadbeat, who that dude is, blah, 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 blah. And then you got a feud going on, the confusion and all like that. I didn't want to be a part of that. But child, as you get older,
yeah. Let me tell you something. I call it preferences and deal breakers, right?
Oh, like, child, you still look like that, and you got 5 of them things. I don't know. I might have to lessen my preferences up in this. Man, but Jeff, that's.
But no, let me tell you what it was, because I mean, and I'm dating now. You know, I'm not dating. I'm a little over that. You know, it's more than dating now. But right. I'm in a relationship now, and my preference before this relationship, I was like, I can't do no man with no little churn.
He got a little churn. Your man got a little churn. Your man got a little churn. Oh, so you play? Oh, you big mama house now? Oh, okay. So look. Oh, wow.
I'm a cougar.
Wow.
I'm a cougar.
Yes, you are. You are. You are. You even got on the leopard print outfit to go along with it. You was ready for it.
But what I realized as, you know, not that as I got older, I realized that this person had all the qualities that I desired in a relationship. So to disband that relationship because they had younger kids, you know, I could be missing out on something great, you know? So I had to understand that, you know, a man having younger kids was actually a preference. I didn't prefer, but it wasn't a deal breaker, you know? So that's what I'm trying to say. We need to understand the difference between our preferences and our deal breakers.
Right. Because even if you tell some people that, just being honest with them, they're like, oh, well, you might not like me then because you don't want to. I say, no, understand what I'm saying. It's something about you that I'm willing to overlook that and be like, this just might work. Hey, yeah, I played Day-to-Day Camp before you bad. I played Day-to-Day Camp in this Mama Jumbo. I sure will. So whatever changes, I'm saying, so sometimes your personality and who you are as a person, we all made mistakes, we all messed up, had different things that happen to us in life. But if you grew up and a person can see that growth and be like, well, hey, look, I know she, but I know he, but hey, baby. Come on, little kids, come ye all. Let's go a youth choir around this mug. You feel me?
Look, don't disband it, baby, because some of these women, honey, will change your life, honey. They'll change your life.
Boy, they'll change your life like a mother, boy. God, yes, they will. So in your dating, and now you said you was married with five times? Or you were just using that for an example? Mm-hmm. You were married 5 times? No, I'm serious.
More than that, but two were annulments.
2, so that's a total of 7?
Mm-hmm.
7 times.
I was married to one person. I was married to one person twice.
Married to one person twice. Why you didn't do it 3 times? You know, 3.
I almost did until God said, "Don't do it again."
Yeah. Oh, so that many times. So did you ever feel like a failure?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the relationship just ain't for me, so why even try again?
Definitely. I felt like that probably up until about maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it takes, from what I come through, Scott, it's taken years of healing, and it's taken really years of understanding who does this. You know, it's like who does. Don't nobody do no mess like this. Who do this? Girl, you crazy as hell. Something wrong with you. You know, so it kind of puts you, I tell people like this all the time. You get in, everybody ain't toxic. Everybody, I got it. There was a toxic relationship.
The new words that came out in 2019.
I'm tired of this.
Ooh, toxic and
narcissism.
In
these toxic relationships over and over again, if you're getting attached to people who are toxic over and over and over, and it may be true, but it's something wrong with me.
Yeah. Something.
It ain't the people.
Oh, he's
You attracting these same people. So you got to look inward. You got to look inward. What's in you that's attracting these people?
Babe, I said if you keep dating narcissists, you need to stop dating dudes that burn down buildings anyway. I say that ain't what that means. It's an narcissist, but whatever. I said y'all knew what I was talking about. I say, damn. But that's all. But those are the new words, the big words they still using today. Toxic and narcissist.
Trending.
Toxic and narcissist.
Trending.
I'm like, dude, why are you dating this many men in the first place? Number two, you like you said, you keep attracting the same person over and over and over, and then they go to ain't no good men out here. So I say, so you dated all? Don't blame me for what he did. I'm not going to pay for what he did. Because if you come here, you get a clean plate. I don't care what nobody did to me in the past. You get a clean plate. And whatever you put on that plate, I got to eat. And if you put something bad on that plate, then I got to push that plate back and say, I'm going on a fast from you.
Right.
That's how I should be. But no, they come here with stuff on the plate already, say, he'll eat this. I'm not going to eat that. I ain't do it. I ain't cook that.
The thing about it is that we if we're not careful, we'll try to make everybody else responsible for our healing. And we can't continually we want a good relationship. So this is what I say too. How do you want a good relationship? But you saying, I'll never let nobody hurt me again. So you put up all these walls. I'll never let nobody do that to me. As long as we are involved with people, we hurt each other. We're going to have challenges in relationships. We're going to have disagreements. We're not going to like each other every day. Right. It ain't going to be no bed of roses and no picnic.
Right.
If you are not willing to be vulnerable and you're not willing to put yourself in the line of fire for relationship, you don't even need to be trying to get into one.
What grandmama them had back in the day is endurance, and it kept God first all the time. Baby, let me tell you like this. This generation has no endurance. Now, we're not talking about being beat on and cheated on. I understand that. But we're talking about, oh, well, you didn't pay that bill yesterday. I'm out of here. Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, no. This is one I hear all the time. Why are you here? Or I just feel like I've fallen out of love.
Man.
I've fallen out of love. I hear that all the time. Well, fall back in love.
Fall back in love.
The same way you work at falling in love, you can do it over and over again. You don't just fall out of love with somebody and say, oh, I'm not going to be in relationship with them anymore because I fell out of love with them. That's not what covenant is about, falling out of love. And I'm talking from a woman who done been in several different relationships and had to realize that something was wrong with me. Something was broken in me, that I had no endurance. And guess what? First marriage, I was married 9 years. I'm 10 years. Second marriage, between the two marriages, I was married a total of about 17 years. Right?
Right.
So the thing with that is, after that marriage, I was totally broken. I was broken and I was spent. The problem was I was never healed out of any of those two marriages. So guess what? The more that I went through, the more broken I became, because I had never dealt with the problems that I had before I even started trying to get married.
So why do you think?
So you got a lot of broken people out here trying to have relationships and they aren't healed.
That's exactly where I was getting ready to go. Why do you think people do that?
They've never, look, I barreled through those relationships because I never took time to deal with my problems. I was trying to find somebody else to fix me. I was trying to find a man to fix me. I was trying to find a man to be responsible for what another man did.
Yeah. And that's why it's important that we follow God. Here's the thing that people say.
I was saved. I ain't following, saved, preaching the gospel. I wasn't following God.
If you don't follow him, you'll fall into those certain things and be like, I can say for myself, I didn't follow. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
I was following what I was taught and thinking, okay, well, I'm like, dude, you just messed up big time, dude. Now you gotta, oh man. Oh, nah. Follow God. If any relationship, follow God and make sure that it is God and not you yourself.
Definitely.
Because
That's why I talk. That's why I like having these conversations, because nobody won't do the real of it. Another thing we got to do, we got what I figured out too, because I've been married so many times. I got people talking about, child, she been married a whole lot of times, and that's coming from women, right? And possibly, so there's somebody finding some kind of value if they want to marry me that many times, right? It's some value somewhere up in this chick right here. But the whole point of the matter is, I try to make people understand. I've been married a lot of times and it didn't work, and I'm single. You haven't been married at all, and probably just about my age, and you single. What's the difference between me being married all these several times and you not ever being married? We still on the same playing ground. It ain't work for you. Getting a husband ain't work for you, and me marrying all these husbands ain't work for me. We on the same level playing field. Let's deal with whatever the problem is and get ourselves together. Because you can't tell me it's by choice I'm not married. That's not a choice for some of us, and we need to stop lying. We around here sleeping with people talking about, I ain't ready to get married, but you giving them your coochie.
Yeah.
But you ain't ready to get married. I'm sorry.
That's the
but
thing.
I'm not sorry.
You know how many people were frowned up about that? I'm like, well,
yeah.
when you read the Bible, a lot of it is talking about sex and coochie. Yeah, a lot of kingdoms in the Bible because of coochie. Yeah, it was so good that somebody had.
And they was chasing plenty coochie.
Yeah,
they was chasing plenty. David had plenty. Solomon.
I say, man,
his concubines.
We love David. David was man after God's own heart, but this man had somebody husband killed for that cooch.
For the coochie.
Yep, that's the truth. Everybody like, oh well, don't say it like that. It's the truth. God in the Bible, they call you a whoremonger, a whore, all that. It's there. So stop acting like, and stop cringing because it's true. You just make sure you ain't on that road when it's coming at you. Man, look, Pop's been preaching so hard about this sex thing, but I'm like, when we first started, I'm like, boy, I ain't got to worry about it because I've been doing good, but I ain't got to worry about it. Nothing that he said ain't hitting me. I'm looking around, I'm like, who cringing up here because it sure ain't me. Y'all can't say nothing this time. But that third week, I'm like, ooh, geez, man, it's hard. Shoot.
Okay then, I'm sorry.
I held on long as I could. I'm getting together.
Look, I tell people all the time, look, let me tell you something. Look, and my leaders know. I be like, they already know. I be like, look, let me tell you something. I don't do this single thing well. I don't do it. I ain't never been a good single person.
Yeah. So
pray for me and throw some. You have to pray for me and throw the oil this way.
I hear you.
You know. Now I ain't gonna be no whoremonger, but I'm just saying, single does not work for me. I desire marriage because obviously there's some things and some benefits about marriage that I like.
Well, church, we're gonna go ahead and end this interview right there because we know what she's talking about. So we don't want y'all to get hot and bothered watching Unmuted, but go read the Song of Solomon, find yourself in there. But anyway, I got one more thing to ask you. You have classes and courses that you teach. You have a seminar and all that you have going about relationships. How can a person sign up?
Well, I'm getting ready to have another relationship traumatology masterclass, which was awesome. And basically, you can go to www.singlebydefault.com. I'm going to go ahead and put the link for the next relationship traumatology class, which will be in November. Okay. Is it in November? Yeah, in November, I'll be doing another relationship traumatology class. So get ready for that. That first relationship traumatology class, when I tell you I had couples in that class, I had single people in that class, married people in that class. And you got to get down to the root cause of why we have challenges in relationships. And just because you're married does not mean you're not having a challenging relationship. I had married couples. So if we really want to discover what's happening in our relationships and why we might not be feeling right in them, we got to understand that there may be some devastation and some trauma there that we haven't dealt with.
Right.
And,
because you don't want to end up in something and be with somebody, and then you find yourself in adultery, you find yourself just jacked up and you're living in adultery. That's something God totally frowns on. And we don't need to be like that.
Even it don't have to be an adultery, you just find yourself unhappy.
Unhappy and
just unhappy and not relating in that relationship. Because relationship is about relating. It's about being relatable, and having relations.
Having conversation, talking, creating fun things, creating memories so you can have something to talk about. Because a lot of times people don't have anything to talk about. I say go out and create memories. Go places, have a great time. Yeah. Fight, tussle, wrestle, have fun.
You can go to the movies and be sane.
You sure can.
You can listen to Luther. Oh yeah, that's right. Juanita Bynum say no, you can't. Anyway, you can listen to Luther.
To Mary J. Blige. Child, Juanita to sit down. That's one person I ain't. But anyway, I just might have on him. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being a part of Unmuted today. This was awesome. This is awesome. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Sim7, man. Thank you for watching this interview. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting on this channel. I really appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please click that button right down there. Don't wait till your homeboy blow up. You wait. Go ahead and participate and become part of the Unmuted family. We greatly appreciate it. We work very hard to bring you good content and stories that you probably never heard of before, and a little something to make you think about the Lord a little bit and laugh a little bit. All right, guys. Like, click, share, comment. Don't text me. Put it right there in the comments. Sim7 out.